This is Grow Omaha Uncut, where you can watch our radio show, including what goes on in the commercial breaks. And be sure to hit those like and subscribe buttons. Well, good morning and welcome to the show. Jeff Beals here. We are brought to you by Dingman's Collision Center and D&M Roofing. You will not find another show anywhere in the metro area that focuses on the growth and development of your favorite city. So glad you have joined us. And without any further ado, the man sitting next to me is absolutely legendary as a real estate deal-making machine, Trenton Magid.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Good morning, Jeff.
Well, good morning to this midsummer audience that we have here today. It's going to be a little hot today, but it's beautiful this morning, and we're going to get right into our content. News of the week, which is brought to you by Eagle Mortgage, eaglemortgagecompany.com. They know mortgages like nobody knows mortgages, and you can find them in person at 114th and Dodge or online at eaglemortgagecompany.com. But stop in and see them if you're thinking about buying a house. Make arrangements for that pre-approval letter. Doesn't matter what type of loan you're getting, FHA, VA, or of course conventional. They can help you get started with the process. So let's go into our news of the week, Trenton. And I chose this first item because it might mean a little something to you. The historic Schimmel Inn, Indian Hills Hotel, that was located at 85th and Dodge, is coming down. In recent decades, it had been used by a Methodist hospital system, Nebraska Methodist College. It is now currently owned by Children's Hospital and Medical Center. It's coming down for future development, but you have a tie to that building.
Absolutely, just like the Cottonwood, Clinton by Cottonwood, or Cottonwood by Clinton, I should say, the old Blackstone. It was in the Schimmel family hotel chain. There's about 6 to 8 hotels, and my mother's family, and that was we called it the Schimmel Inn. Jeff gave speeches there, and they still had the Schimmel silverware and different logos on things, right?
Yeah, that was weird. And I think the first time I spoke there was probably back in the 90s, and I remember seeing that they still had the Schimmel silverware there that they were using because it was a luncheon banquet or something like that. And I was tempted to steal one for you, but when I didn't and felt bad, you said you already had some. Yeah,
absolutely, and we got plenty now too. But it was a dynasty, a very well-known hotel group by my great-grandfather, my grandfather, and all of them. And I am told it's more of a placeholder. Children's Hospital is going to tear it down and make it either a green space or maybe a park for kids or something until they have the expansion requirements down. But it'll be a nice space there, and it's right next to 8601 Dodge, which NP Dodge redeveloped, and it's end of an era.
Yeah, it is. And we have, one of the reasons why I bring that up first in the news this week, we have been peppered incessantly with questions from listeners about that because everyone wants to know what's going there. And right now, like you said, nothing much. But I did see some plan a while back. This is maybe a couple of years ago when Children's was first taking over that space. And it talked about possibly another building and a parking garage in that area. You know, Children's, at least at that time, had some pretty aggressive expansion plans down the road. They want to be more of a research institution. I assume that's still the case, but they certainly have the land to grow there now once the old Schimmel Indian Hills Hotel is removed.
And they also bought the Durham Plaza and those buildings to the west of 84th, too.
And connected them via Skywalk to the existing Children's buildings. So moving right along, a couple other things. We sometimes like to give you some commercial real estate development spotlights that are brought to you by one of our sponsors, which would be CoStar. CoStar is a real estate data and analytics company. And land has been, though actually the thing I wanted to talk about, that's the wrong one, but the Logier Foundation, which was started by the late Alan Logier and his wife Diane, has leased space in the Landmark building.
Yeah, just over 10,000 square feet at $12.99. What is that, 1299?
Farnham Street, yeah. And that's the building where the new Farnham Hotel opened last year. Great new addition.
Ate there last night at Dynamite, went through the park. Boy, what a perfect night last night. the wind, it was, 85 or so, but there was the wind that went through the park and everything. They were showing the movie Soul.
Did you go see that?
On the band shell, they had a big blow-up screen and a great turnout. And that's the first time, believe it or not, I've driven around it and I've researched it for the show, but really spent some time down there, and it is magnificent.
Yeah, and indeed it is. And the weather last night was good for being outside. I know we were out on the patio a little bit, and at one point in time, the temperature said like 88 or 89 degrees, but it didn't feel anywhere like that. I think the humidity was kind of low. So glad you were down there taking advantage of all of that. Footings are now in place for the future Fairfield Inn by Marriott Hotel. This will be a 90-room hotel on part of the site that was once home to the Ramada Inn Cocoa Key Water Resort. There's also a large apartment complex going there that we talked about last week. Also some retail buildings. There's already an existing newish hotel on site. So we've had a lot of people ask questions about that too. What's going on there? Well, that is a Fairfield Inn by Marriott. Construction is underway on the Live 178 apartments. This is a 96-unit apartment building on 4.5 acres on the south side of 178th and Pacific. So we're getting a little bit of infill there on that area. And then the YMCA of Greater Omaha has announced, or not just announced, it has opened its new Buena Vista YMCA Express. This is at 60th and L Street, and it's in partnership with the new high school, Buena Vista High School, which is one of the two new OPS high schools that have opened this school year. This one, of course, like I said, at 60th and L Street.
What is it, like a 15-minute workout, YMCA Express?
It'd be perfect for us, wouldn't it?
Exactly.
I want to sign up for more of those express workouts. I figure if you do 6 or 7 minutes of really strenuous working out, I'm good for the week. So
I prefer Blue Moon Fitness. Thank you.
Okay. And great place. But anyway, this is described as, to answer your question, the branch is described as a technologically enhanced, fitness-focused boutique location that offers personalized, goal-driven workout experiences for all levels of wellness seekers age 14 and up. Frankly, I like your definition of express better.
Right.
Although there's nothing wrong with that. Building Omaha has opened its new electrical training center. This is at 8960. It's actually an addition to an existing electrical training center. The first building was constructed in 2002. The addition is 24,000 square feet, so put them all together, it's about 56,000 square feet. And since the first facility opened in 2002, get this, more than 1,000 people who have gone into the electrical trades have graduated from this apprenticeship program.
That's where they have that, it looks like a silo, but it's the base of one of the windmills.
Oh,
they climb it and work on it and everything else, the electrical contractors union.
It's great that they've graduated 1,000 electricians over the last 20 years. The only problem is we could have used a couple thousand more.
Yeah, and we get a lot of travelers that come here and with the data centers and everything that either have campers or apartments or houses and stay here for 3 years, so we'll take them as well.
I'm thinking electricians, of all of the jobs for which we have critical shortages, electrician has got to be up there right toward the top when you have massive facilities for both Google and Facebook and so many other construction projects around here.
Yeah, there's more expansions planned.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. By the way, I mean, Jiminy Christmas, we're already up to like 4 Google campuses in the metro area, and Facebook just kind of keeps gobbling up more and more land. So it's pretty cool. Well, that is your news of the week, which is brought to you by Eagle Mortgage, eaglemortgagecompany.com. Going to take our first break of the hour. And when we come back, we're going to bring on Sarah Baker Hansen. She is the premier restaurant reviewer and food critic in Omaha and part of our Grow Omaha team. We're going to be talking about restaurants, the culinary scene, and all sorts of stuff related to not being hungry anymore. Or actually, maybe the more we talk about it, the hungrier you're going to get. One of the two. It's going to be a fun conversation. Stay with us. You're listening to Jeff and Trenton on Grow Omaha, brought to you by Dingman's Collision Center and D&M Roofing. Back in a moment on News Radio 1110 KFAB.
So are there any like food industry jokes?
But it does much more than that.
Like what are the standard jokes?
Two chefs walk into a bar?
There's a lot of sort of, really inside baseball, like industry jokes, like about
Customers or?
kind of, but about like trendy stuff like espresso martinis, or like, just things people do in the restaurant
The
industry.
foofy things that.
Or
all
things
the
people order, like there are whole Instagram accounts that are devoted to like memes about crazy things people like say.
I remember when it was Emeril Lagasse in New Orleans, the redfish craze. Do you remember that goes what 30 years back?
Probably,
whatever.
yeah.
But it was like, remember all the redfish was like whatever happened to that? Did they fish it all out or something? Because you don't hear about redfish anymore.
Yeah, sometimes that does happen with random things. Like remember Chilean sea bass?
Oh,
yeah,
that was another craze.
And it was one of the
got
least
totally
flavorful,
overfished.
One of the least flavorful fishes
And it was just an
around.
existing fish that had been rebranded.
and then they put whatever on top of it.
Yeah.
And
everyone's like, oh, the Chilean sea bass.
So do you remember?
Yeah.
You're probably old enough, but remember Rax? R-A-X, I think.
Yeah.
With stuffed potatoes. Remember potato skins? They're good for you. They're bad for you. They're cancerous. They're this. They're that. And it was like there's places that you get like
potato skins.
It was
used
like
to be
a
on every
potato skin
appetizer
with
menu.
like some cheese and bacon bits or something.
and sour cream.
And it was on every
But
appetizer.
so now you're not
I
supposed to eat
remember. That was
skin.
when I was a kid.
You're not supposed to eat skin, right?
I don't know. I still
eat it.
do.
I eat skin.
I think that's where the vitamins are.
I was going to say.
I thought but that's where like the cancer is or something.
I don't know.
Cancer and potato skins.
But we used to drink out of our garden hoses. Do kids still drink out of garden hoses?
I still drink out of the garden
Probably.
hose.
I'm sure they do.
When I'm doing yard work, I drink out of the garden hose.
As long as you don't come home till the street light. Well, not in your case, but till the street lights come on.
Yeah. You can forget the garden hose. You can have a lawnmower beer now.
Oh, a handle
It's
on
like
your lawnmower?
no, it's like a beer you drink after you mow the lawn.
I thought during it.
It's like a light beer,
Yeah. You got a light beer while you're mowing it, or and a craft beer.
Yeah,
after you're done.
exactly. Yeah, there you
I
go.
make sure to have several before I'm.
We had the yogurt craze.
Oh yeah,
the red mango
kale.
and all
What
that.
about kale?
Kale, yes.
Kale was always that stuff that when I would grocery shop with my mom, sitting in the cart or walking next to the cart, and you would see the divider in the fruit section and the vegetable section. Kale was the stuff between them, right?
Yeah.
And now they're like, let's cook it, or let's eat it raw.
And if your mom
Put it
puts
in
it in the cart,
let's
you
put it in
tossed it out when she wasn't looking.
Let's put it in a shake, in a mold, and call it.
Was that kale or parsley?
That was kale.
Or maybe both.
Kale was really popular, and then Brussels sprouts. They became. Really
Oh, they were the rage.
Yeah,
I
They still kind of are.
Yeah.
Still love them.
Yeah, there's got to be like a Brussels sprout farm or something like that like gets over abused. Whatever.
Yeah.
Have you ever seen the Rotten series?
I don't know.
It's about like avocados
Here we go.
and honey. And how
Is
they
this,
have,
are these my headphones? Should I put
you
these
don't
in
need
my
them.
mouth?
Yeah.
I don't
You
need
can wear
them.
them if you want them.
You don't need
That's all
them.
right.
Don't mess up that.
Wow.
Some people like to wear them so you can hear how you sound.
Yeah.
Media links can be found right now on kfab.com.
And welcome back to the show. Jeff Beals and Trenton Magid sitting here in the KFAB Penthouse Studio, high above Underwood Avenue. We are brought to you by D&M Roofing and Dingman's Collision Center. Dingman's Collision Center, 4 metro area locations, takes very good care of you if you find yourself in an accident. And we hope you don't, but every once in a while you do. And when that happens, tell the tow truck operator, take it to Dingman's. If you can drive it yourself, take it to Dingman's.
Even mechanical.
And they even have mechanical services as well. And they take good care of it. Trent and I have both used Dingman's before, and we will probably use them again in the future in our next accidents.
I get all my blinker fluid there. Once a year I have my blinker fluid. No, it's not a real thing.
You're the same guy that tried to sell freshman elevator passes in high school, didn't you?
West Side High School and newspaper subscriptions.
All right, let's talk a little bit about food. It is one of our favorite topics here on the Grow Omaha show, and you may have noticed earlier this year we launched a new series called Grow Omaha Eats with Sarah Baker Hansen, and these are our official restaurant reviews. And Sarah is the premier food critic in Omaha. Many of you know her from her days at the World Herald, and more importantly, we hope you know her now for the reviews that she writes as part of the Grow Omaha team. Sarah, welcome to the show.
Hello, thanks for having me.
Good to have you here, and I don't think we've ever officially welcomed you to the Grow Omaha team on the radio. We are glad you're part of the team.
Yeah, we have. We've
I'm
talked
glad
about
I'm
it.
part of the team.
But in person on the video, watch this video when it comes out on our YouTube channel because Sarah never, your picture was never in the World Herald. For the 8 years you're in the World Herald and did reviews, you were incognito.
Pretty much, yeah.
I wasn't fully incognito because in the world of social media, it's silly to think you can be completely anonymous. But yeah, my picture didn't run in the paper. There was a drawing of me that ran in the paper a few times, but a lot of people told me the drawing didn't look anything like me, so I was still incognito.
you were able to keep this disguise.
Yeah. But I'd imagine when you go to restaurants a couple times to review the restaurants and stuff, you've been around long enough now that people know who you are. Mm-hmm. I'm guessing at least the chefs do.
Yeah, I have some rules I follow that I still follow that I followed like the entire time. So I don't make reservations, or if I make one, I don't make it under my own name. So they don't know. I try to make it so they don't know I'm coming. But I kind of, truly actually believe that, when I walk into the restaurant, there's really nothing they can do. Like, they can't reinvent the whole thing. Like, it's going to be whatever it is. And so
they can up the service maybe.
Maybe they can do that. Yeah. But no, I think they do their best if they know it's me. I hope they do their best if they don't know it's me.
It's kind of ironic because when I make reservations now, I make them under Sarah Baker's hand. and
you never have to wait.
Boy, are they pissed when it goes, oh, she's coming. Yeah, she's coming.
Or it's more like, she looks like that?
Yeah.
So, Sarah, how'd you get into this food critic business?
So I actually studied journalism at the University of Nebraska-Lincoln, and my journalism study had an emphasis in criticism. So I was always really interested in like being a critic. What did it take? How did you do that? So I first studied visual art criticism. And so for many years after I graduated from UNL, I worked as a freelance art critic for the Omaha Reader. Wrote about visual art, did a bunch of different shows about visual art, and then wrote a book about Nebraska called The Insider's Guide to Omaha and Lincoln.
Things I hate in Nebraska. So let's talk about that.
Wait, no, the book's not about things I hate in Nebraska.
Tell the story first.
You can go ahead.
No, but sorry. Before you tell us about the book, tell us about the word critic. Is critic a negative word?
Well, I think it could be seen as a lot of people see it as a negative word. Yeah, I don't. I mean, I think, now that I'm on the Grow Omaha team, I think it's fun to think about the role that a critic can play in the food scene. Like you can, I think I've been writing about food for almost a decade now in Omaha. So if people have read what I write, they know what I like and they know what I don't. And so they either agree with me or they disagree with me. But either way, they're interested. They're going to go try something maybe. They're going to have something they haven't had before. Or they're going to say, I don't know what I'm talking about. And if I don't like it and they love it, that's fine too. Like, I feel like kind of one of the big goals of criticism is to get a reaction out of people. And if you are getting a reaction, if people feel like they want to comment or talk to you or go try it themselves, like that to me is the goal of criticism. So that's kind of what I always try to aim for.
Because obviously a lot of your reviews have very positive things too, and you'll point out things that aren't so positive.
Yeah.
But so critical can just mean that you analyze something and it could be positive.
Yeah.
In your definition.
Yeah, I think it can be positive or negative, and the way I've always done my reviews and the way I continue to do them for Grow Omaha is I do an interview. And so a lot of critics don't do that. Like if you read a New York Times restaurant review, there's no interview in it. It's just one person's opinion. And it is so subjective. So I've always felt like the interview does really add something to it, especially because sometimes the interview, you learn things about the restaurant that you would never know. So I'm really excited about the review I have coming up next week because I feel like the interview, I just know the interview is going to be great. And I know we're going to learn things about this restaurant that we would have never known, that I can't tell you the origin story of, but when I do the interview, then I can. And so I think it kind of turns it into sort of, it's me being critical if I don't like something or praising it if I do, but it's also got this story element to it that I think a lot of people connect with.
And owners and chefs will admit to things or just say, this is why that was this, and we're changing this, and please give us another chance or whatever. But I like that that give and take.
Yeah, and I like talking to chefs and restaurant owners because, oftentimes there's really interesting reasons of why they do things. And even if I don't like it, if there's an interesting reason, we'll put it in there. I mean, it's worth having a conversation about.
Well, tell us about your first book.
So my first book is called The Insider's Guide to Omaha and Lincoln. It was part of an international travel guide series. It was the first book written in this style, in this series, about Omaha and Lincoln. And so the biggest section of that book, which I wrote in my free time, was about food. And so I started thinking about, growing up in Omaha, always living here, loving writing about restaurants. It was sort of my first, it popped into my head, like maybe I could do something about restaurants or something about food. And then as fate would have it, the food critic that was at the World Herald before me quit.
Was that Jim Delmont?
No, it was Nicole Askemet.
Okay, I remember that.
And
Jim was before her?
Yes. And
how do I know that?
I know. You've got a real institutional history of the World Herald there. And so anyway, I started doing freelance stories for them about visual art, actually. And then right about that time, the critic left, and so they asked me, did I want to write a restaurant review? And so I said yes, because who wouldn't want to write a restaurant review?
Yeah, twist an arm.
Yeah. So I did 3 reviews as a freelancer, and then I got the job. So that's how it started.
And then, so you're now working in public relations and marketing.
Yeah. Now I direct public relations at M Space in Lovegren. It's a really fun job. So I do that during the day. And then this is my side hustle. Hanging out with you guys, writing food reviews. It's not too bad. It's pretty sweet, actually.
It's not a bad side hustle.
No.
You have to put up with us.
We're a posse.
We're a wolf pack.
Have you been banned from? And you probably wanted to be anyway. But has any restaurant owner said, put your picture on the wall, say she's not allowed in or something?
No one's ever banned me, but I do know for a fact that my picture has been on the wall of restaurant kitchens before.
Really?
Was it a dartboard or just a regular picture?
I don't know the answer to that. I didn't ask that follow-up. I probably didn't want
It's
to know.
probably on the wall of people who have yet to have a review.
Yeah, I knew that. So the people who recognize you are never going to be the owner or the chef. The people who rat you out are the servers, because so many servers in Omaha and people in the industry have worked at so many different restaurants,
Right.
and I've been around long enough that they are the ones who recognize me.
So if you go to Sarah's social media, and is it your Facebook page or is
I
it
have all social media.
You have all
yeah.
social media, and she did the burger bracket and and the pizza bracket, was it?
Yep, we're having one this year too.
Oh,
or next year.
It's really cool, and see who wins out and that kind of stuff, and who's pitted against who and all that kind of stuff. It would take some doing, but just like you said, you'll go to a restaurant and you'll recognize their server, and you'll be like, wait, didn't he used to work at this other restaurant? So it's a whole community, and it's people have done it for 30 years. Some people do it part-time. A lot of people do it part-time. A lot of people did it and stopped doing it. But I would love to see the flow chart of who was. I mean, it would be impossible to make.
Yeah.
It'd have to be 3D and all kinds of stuff. But it'd be pretty
Sometimes
cool.
you really have to. Sometimes I really have to think through. Okay, where did I last see that person?
Right.
What restaurant was it? Because I know I've never been to this place, so it wasn't here.
And Omaha, by and large, does an amazing job. The restaurants, the service industry, and the servers are just great.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I think, you will rarely see in one of my reviews complaints about service. Because I think by and large, the industry is really good. They know what they're doing, and they don't mess up.
Do you have when you go in, do you have a notebook next to you?
Not anymore.
Okay. So that's going to be hard. Well, that you can put on your phone.
Yeah. I used to use a notebook, but I realized really quickly that a notebook was not going to work.
Dead giveaway.
Yeah.
Don't mind the camera.
Yeah. I think on my first few reviews, I would have I had an iPhone, but I hadn't really thought through what I was doing. So I would go to the restroom and scribble down notes in a notebook and then come back to the table. But you can only do that so many times before people start thinking you're really weird.
Yeah.
She has some issues. I hope it's not the food.
So yeah, I use my phone.
But what about the pictures? Because you always take great photographs that we publish on growomaha.com with each one of your reviews. How do you do that without drawing notice to yourself?
That used to be really obvious. I would have to wait until I would sort of try to wait until no one was looking, or just try to do it clandestinely. And when I was at the World Herald, I didn't have to do that because we had a whole staff of photographers who would go after the fact and take beauty shots of the food in the restaurant. But now that I'm doing my own thing, and now I'm working with you guys, I had to get better at that. So I started taking my own pictures as part of a series that I used to do called Food Prowl, where we would go around Omaha and try, 20 hamburgers and see which one was the best, or 20 donuts. And I found that having the pictures on my phone was really helpful when I sat down to write, because I could remember, oh, what did this one donut look like this one day that we were there? And so I've really been like refining the photos since then. And now I take all the photos myself. They're just taken all on my iPhone. I do request the fanciest iPhone with the best camera anytime I get an upgrade. So I have like the newest one, the Pro Max, and it takes really good photos. And if you learn how to like do some basic photo editing, you end up with some pretty good-looking photos. So.
They are good photos, because I've noticed that as we've been publishing your reviews, just how sharp and, well, how hungry the photos tend to make you.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like the photos really do some of the heavy lifting sometimes. Like, you know, a person might not know what a dish looks like, but like the saffron Indian review, I got a lot of comments from people who were like, wow, that curry looks really good. And probably would have never even considered it without seeing that photo. So the photos, they do really help.
Pictures worth 1,000 words. And we are chatting with Sarah Baker Hansen, who is the official food critic and restaurant reviewer for Grow Omaha. And we're going to talk to Sarah more, but we're going to take our middle of the show break for the news. You're listening to Jeff and Trenton on Grow Omaha, brought to you by Dingman's Collision Center and D&M Roofing. Back in a moment on News Radio 1110 KFAB.
Everyone says
One of our
they like
incessant
working with a
groupies that
local
loves to text me during the
company.
show is John Lund. He said that you worked at the Lund
I
Company.
did work at the Lund Company.
Oh, did you really?
Doing what?
I was one of their like executive assistants many years
He's
ago.
such a spaz, isn't he?
I still.
Which wife?
Benita.
Oh, so this was that long ago.
It was long ago.
Sorry,
for me.
John.
It was like probably. Well, I've left the World Herald for 3 years. I worked at the World Herald for 8. Before that, I had 2 PR jobs. Probably close to 18 years ago.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
He's a good friend. He just spaz.
Yeah. I got to know Jay Lund pretty well. Adam Merrick, I know.
Yeah.
I just saw him actually at Dundee Dell.
He's out in Colliers.
Yeah. He worked at Lund when I was there. Gosh, I can't even remember some of the other
18
names.
years ago, I mean, that was
Rich Secord.
He's my neighbor.
still one of
He
the
works
owners.
there. I can't remember. I could probably name a few more.
So, Jeff, I'm trying to figure out how to do it. So, our family's estate sale is next Friday, and it's Twist of Fate estate sales, but we don't want to reveal the address. But I wonder if I say,
going on now. They have a large selection of refrigerators, ranges, and more from the brands you trust. Plus, get
everything I
store-wide
say.
savings on other in-stock categories.
I'll
Shop the event
It's Armour's
online or
Oaks
in-store now. While
subdivision,
supplies
but
last. Valid through 8/17.
Because it's not really.
now I'll just say around.
Do you want to bring it up if you can't say the address?
Yeah, I'm gonna say go to. Well, actually, I can do it. I know how to do it because it's all. If you go to the website, it's the only estate sale they have this weekend.
Oh, okay.
I'm gonna
No,
just-
why can't you say the address for security purposes?
Right.
Because someone could go look at it ahead of time and they're trying to break in or something.
Yeah, let's not talk about that right now.
We don't want to give anyone ideas. But again, only about 12 people watch
scratch
this
the
thing. Can I get something?
Is it closed?
No, it's closed. Right there.
Well, thanks.
Right there?
Down.
Okay.
Down.
There.
Down.
There.
Down.
Gee, mini Christmas.
Right there.
How big is that frickin' itch?
Harder.
What did you say? I think I've scratched
Oh,
it.
Jeff.
So
I haven't
Sarah,
heard that in a while.
people here in reviews, you can always find something redeeming about every place. But
Try to.
you've had a couple that were brutal.
That's true.
Early on.
We're only on week 6.
Yeah.
I guess we're on.
She's done 6 of them?
No, I've done. This is my 6th review.
Coming up?
Yeah.
Well, I guess I meant historically. I didn't
Historically,
say-
yes, I have had some. Like I have torn some places to shreds.
Someone said that Greg Cutchall was not a fan.
I said that.
What happened?
I tore his version of Oklahoma Joe's to shreds.
Oh, that was one of your all-time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe the worst review ever.
At Alexander Village?
Yeah.
It's still there, isn't it?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I will say one very good thing about the place. Iced tea.
Really?
Yep. I'm an iced tea
You're a big
drinker.
iced tea guy.
I
I'm a
like
big
iced tea too.
And a lot of times I take a walk over lunch at
Yeah.
Sarbin Village. And on my way back to the office, I go by Oklahoma Joe's and get an iced tea because their iced tea rocks.
Huh.
It's
There you go.
very, very, yeah, it's good.
It's nicely brewed.
So what was the fallout? He just called you and just...
But I can't say I ate there.
He pulled all of his advertising from the Omaha World Herald.
Wow.
Yeah, but it didn't. We just kept going.
Yeah.
And then he came back like a month later.
There have been certain people that have done that at KFAB over the years. From
Yeah.
understanding they come back.
Yeah.
Yeah, they usually do.
We had somebody that didn't care for me at the time. I like to think he likes me now. Called our cluster manager, our cluster.
Maybe don't go any further.
Yeah. What's this place called? I know it's iHeartRadio, but what's the group of stations?
They call it a cluster, don't they?
Yeah.
Yeah.
We still use
The Omaha cluster.
Yeah.
Yeah. You have to be careful when you use cluster as an adjective.
Yeah, cluster what?
They called our cluster guy.
I think a lot of the places that I gave really negative reviews to aren't around anymore. Now that I start thinking about it. Yeah.
Was it because they were bad or was it?
Well, you know, there's a lot
We might be
of
able
saying
to
about the editorial pad.
add 1 + 1 on that.
Yeah, we might have to do
I
a
mean,
little
if
bit
you're
of math on
the
that.
if you're the theater reviewer in New York for Broadway or whatever
Yeah.
for the New York Times or
Sure.
the Post or whatever, I mean,
Yeah.
you know, they got $100 million in this
Oh
production
yeah,
or
you have
something.
a lot of power.
Yeah. And one person at the newspaper.
Yeah.
I think Salman Rushdie's running scared or not doing anything right now, but
He's not running right.
you know,
Right now.
but yeah, I think you
Laying in the
definitely
bed.
don't want your picture in the paper and
Sounds like he's going to lose an
No.
eye.
Oh, in the
know.
eye,
That's
really?
horrible.
No, they got him in the eye, huh?
Uh-huh.
Good
Stabbed him in the
lord.
neck.
I knew the neck. I didn't
Yeah.
realize he got up there. He's lucky he's alive.
Yeah.
Yeah,
well, it's been since that fatwa it's been like 39 years. I think it's
88.
Yeah. It's
what I heard
30, more than
yesterday.
30 years, yeah.
Yeah. Coming up on 30.
You know, that's a long ways to go with an international fatwa.
yeah.
Yeah.
My last international fatwa.
Your fatwas fortunately have been
Yeah, then
very mild.
Then I went on a diet and everything was fine.
Gary and Rosie, when the mic is off, we frequently were fatwas against each other.
You guys issue fatwas.
we issued our own fatwas against
There, I'm not going to lie to you, there are a couple people in my life I wouldn't mind issuing a mild
a
fatwa.
mild fatwa.
Nothing like
At least
death.
the shunning.
Nothing like death or anything,
Yeah.
but a mild fatwa.
I'm going to shun you now.
Yeah. So,
When did you start at the World Herald?
Well, I was there almost 8 years.
Okay.
So, let's see, 2009.
Oh, yeah. No.
Wait, you left there in 2000?
No, I started in
I was gonna say, yeah. I was
in like fall of 2009.
My brother was sports writer for about 20 years there. I mean, he did the odd move of going from the paper to the AP.
Oh.
And he just got back from Central Europe on Sunday, and now he has COVID.
oh,
Did
really?
the AP buy UPI or the UPI just...
UPI's still around.
Wasn't
I
that
believe.
part of Reuters? Did UPI and Reuters get together?
You know, I'm not sure about that.
That's where Bob
That's
Hoyt...
right, actually.
Bob Hoyt came from
Okay, there you
UPI.
go.
Yeah.
By the way, I'm a UNL college journalism grad
Nice.
too. Yeah. So there's two of us here.
You both had class. Well, now what happened?
Site strictly for conservatives. See her video and check that site on the Scott Voorhees page at kfab.com.
And back to Girl Omaha, Jeff Beals and Trenton Maggot sitting here with you today. We're going to go back to our interview with Sarah Baker Hansen in a moment, but we are brought to you by Dingman's Collision Center and D&M Roofing. D&M Roofing is the premier roofing contractor in the state of Nebraska. Both residential and commercial roofs are certainly in play. They do it all. And if you own a commercial building, check into their preventative maintenance program. It is unlike any other and second to none in quality. dndmroofing.com. Hey, it's time for our commercial real estate development spotlight of the week. And this is brought to you by Noddle Companies. Each week we highlight something going on in one of the Noddle Companies developments. And their developments include things like Exarban Village, Rivers Edge, the Builders District, Steel Ridge, and many others. And today, we're going to talk about Exarban Village, an insight. And this is very appropriate since Sarah's here. We're going to talk about a new restaurant in the Inner Rail Food Hall. It's called Gravy Train. I went and checked it out this week, and it's good. I mean, it's not something that I'm going to eat a lot of because it's biscuits, and I'm trying to decarb a little bit, but I liked it. It was
Maybe
good.
they have a carb-free option or something.
I didn't look at the menu all that closely.
Cauliflower biscuits.
I really hope they don't have that.
Why wouldn't you go?
Cauliflower biscuit? No.
It was good.
I'm sure the regular biscuit was great.
But they make
I've
everything.
seen
You
their
can get
Instagram.
cauliflower pretzels now.
I know. I'm just saying. A biscuit, that's like a pure thing. It
Well, you
has
could
to
get
be.
biscuits and gravy there. They have like biscuit sandwiches.
Biscuit
and
etouffee.
butterfly,
shrimp biscuit.
Butterfly biscuit.
I follow them on Instagram.
And that's about it. Oh, Interrail or
Both.
or
yeah.
Gravy Train.
Gravy Train.
It used to be a food
Treat-
truck.
Yeah.
Or
And they're
it was
part
like
of
a-
Blend, too, I think.
it was served like they would serve it at farmers markets and
Yeah,
things like
kind
that.
of a pop-up.
Yeah. At any rate, that is your commercial real estate development spotlight of the week, brought to you by Noddle Companies. You can find out more about Noddle Companies at their website, which is appropriately noddlecompanies.com. So, Sarah, we're talking about restaurants, and so far you've done 5 reviews. Koji, Saffron Indian
Yep,
Crumble.
Crumble Cookie.
Crumble. We did the new Dundee Dell.
New Dundee Dell.
By the way, after your review, I went to the new Dundee Dell twice. One time I tried the fish and chips, which are
Yeah.
really now the fish and fries.
Yeah.
Very good.
Yeah.
Measures up well to the previous iteration.
Yes.
And then I tried the chicken tikka masala that
What'd you
was in your
think?
review. I liked it.
Yeah,
I love
really
Indian
like
food.
it. I think I've heard from several people. I don't know how many, I didn't count, but several people since then who didn't know it was open and went and loved it. So, like we were talking about earlier, letting people know that there's a new place that they should go try. Maybe they'll like it. I always feel really good about that.
Yeah, it's kind of fun to do it.
Yeah. And
So-
this next review coming up, I think, is a real hidden gem. So,
And folks, even I don't know what the
know.
next review is
Trenton
going to
knows.
be.
I told him.
I know.
What the hell?
You weren't here yet.
Jeez. I get here a little bit late. All right, but no one else can know about it.
No one else can know.
It's
Well,
a
it'll come
surprise.
out on Thursday.
On Thursday.
Yeah.
When you look at the Omaha culinary scene as a whole, what are our strengths and weaknesses?
Oh, geez. Gosh, I should have written an essay about this before I got here. I would say our strengths are one of our biggest strengths, I think, especially, coming out of 2020 and 2021, where so many restaurants were really facing challenges, is that our population in Omaha loves dining out. People love restaurants and they love local restaurants. And so there's never a shortage. I don't think there's ever a shortage of customers because people are always wanting to go out. And even over the pandemic on my blog, sarahbakerhansen.com, I started this series called The Takeout Chronicles. And so over the entire year of 2020 into 2021, before restaurants were really back on their feet, I just ordered takeout. And it was incredible how many restaurants like Block 16, Dario's, all these different places basically completely transformed into takeout operations because there was such a huge demand for people who wanted to still support these restaurants even through this super difficult time for everyone, including restaurants. And so I think that is really truly one of our biggest strengths. And I think one of the things that doesn't get talked about quite as much, just that enthusiasm for locally owned restaurants and for dining out. And I think that really makes our restaurant scene a place where interesting new concepts can thrive and where people feel like they can try something. And we've got a lot of now these sort of food hall incubators where they can go try a concept and they don't have to have this huge investment in their business if it doesn't work out. So I think there's just a very healthy community of people who are willing to try things.
And the weaknesses?
And I would say the weaknesses are there are some areas.
Staph infections?
No, there are some areas where I think we could have more, diversity of cuisine. We're going to, but we don't have a Brazilian steakhouse. And if you go to sort of comparable cities, there's several. I think we are getting better when it comes to barbecue, but I still think we have a long way to go.
Nashville hot chicken.
Yeah, we just got our first, Koji was an example of meat on sticks, cooked in a very specific way, Japanese yakitori. We didn't have that. And so I think that is, we're making progress there.
Wait, I had meat on a stick, I think, at a Santa Lucia festival.
Well, yeah, that's not the
And
same.
at the Renaissance Festival, turkey legs. But those are different meats on
Yeah,
sticks.
you take that up with Dave
Okay.
Butterback. I think
I've had
he'll tell you
corn dogs.
It's different.
Okay.
She said meat on a stick.
Okay,
Yeah.
yeah.
A corn dog, I
That
guess
was questionable. That might not be meat.
Yeah,
Okay.
I don't know. We could think it over. Anyway, I think that is where we are still seeing a lot of things change and a lot of new things open. But I do think that there are specific areas where we could use more. And other areas we have, like when I was doing the lineup for the burger bracket last year, I had to, there's only 64 in the tournament, and I could have done a double that if you would have really started looking at every place that offers a burger. So there's some things like that we just have tons of.
So what were the best burgers in the bracket?
Did you get gout after that? Much red meat?
I did a lot. I ate a lot of burgers, and I also ate a lot of pizza. Hold on, let me pull up the Omaha
Stella's
bracket.
has got to be one of them.
I think Stella's
That was number one.
Yeah, I think it was, if I remember
Beat out
correctly.
Cops, actually.
I know that.
Cops. I've never
Cops
had
was
their burger.
pizza.
Oh, that's pizza. I'm mixing. Yeah, I'm mixing.
Yeah.
But the new Cops has all these other items.
Mangio
won the pizza bracket.
Sweet Jesus, that was good
that
stuff.
makes sense.
Yeah. And Stella's. It was Stella's and Block 16. It's all coming back to me.
Both great choices.
Yeah, and so they were the final two. And the final four were Block 16 versus Dinkers, which was like a hot matchup. I really also like Dinkers. And Stella's versus Dario's.
Dario's. I don't think I've had their burger.
Oh, you have
they closed yet?
No, you have to try it before they close. It's fantastic.
It
was really interesting. Like I always try to go out during the bracket and try some things that I've never tried before, or try some things that are like upsetting. Doing upsets in the race that I don't expect to win.
Cinderella stories.
Yeah.
On my blog, I did the Runza bracket.
The Runza bracket.
Like which Runza is better
the
than the
flavors.
Yeah, it wasn't a lot of research. It was really just a.
He went to all 46 McDonald's in town and ranked them and 1 to 46.
There's a lot of places that are disqualified.
I had a Runza last night.
Did you really?
A meal and a bunza.
That's not going to be the review on Thursday, is it?
That's not the review.
Okay.
No.
All right. Well, Sarah her reviews are available on growomaha.com. All you have to do is go to growomaha.com, click on Eats on the navigation bar. They're sponsored by Cheer Athletics, All-Star Cheering Gym, and we have all of them on there.
Yeah.
And we'll keep all of them on there from the dawn of time.
Yeah.
And so this Thursday, there will be a sixth one on there.
Can't wait. Super excited for it to come out.
Okay, well, Sarah, we'll have to have you back periodically and just talk about restaurants and get your take on the culinary scene.
I would love that.
You know what? It's going to be called the Baker's Half Dozen.
The Baker's Half
I have
Dozen?
6.
Wait, but isn't a Baker's Half Dozen 7?
No, because you round down on. Because a baker's dozen's 13, right?
Yeah, 13, right? Okay, so on your 6.5.
All right. I'll come on after I'm at a baker's dozen.
All right. Well, Sarah, thanks for joining us.
Thanks for having me.
Sarah Baker Hansen, official food critic and restaurant reviewer of Grow Omaha, writer of Grow Omaha Eats with Sarah Baker Hansen. We're going to take our last break of the hour, and when we come back, it's the lightning round, and I'm looking at the list, and there's all sorts of things on there, so you don't want to miss any of it. You're listening to Jeff and Trenton on Grow Omaha, brought to you by Dingman's Collision Center and D&M Roofing. Back in a moment on News Radio 1110 KFAB.
Nice job.
Thanks.
Good stuff. Fun?
I like doing radio.
You're on the blowtorch.
Yeah, radio's fun.
Yeah, it's super
Hey, Sarah, did Runza drop their vegetarian Runza on the whole chain? Or
They did.
What the heck was in that?
They
had two different
It's like
ones.
Southwest Bean. Yeah,
One
they
was
have
Southwest and one was more like, it was lentils, I think.
Yeah.
But it was
It comes with a roll of toilet paper or
But
what?
they still have the same cabbage and onions and all
Cabbage.
that.
Yeah, everything
onions,
else is the
But
same.
then the one was lentil. But the other one, did the Southwest one have cabbage?
Fall in love all over again.
I don't know. I didn't eat them, but my
Amy
wife's a
loves them.
vegetarian, so I have to.
You gotta have the cabbage.
They give you the Runzas.
Yeah. No, it was more. The
Nothing's
Southwest-
like a Runza at a Nebraska game. Do they still sell them at Nebraska games?
Yeah, the
I
hand
haven't gone
warmers.
for 2 years.
You sure do.
Yeah, the hand
Last year I was
warmers.
mad
Yeah,
because
make
so
them
bad
there.
we were in 2020. I
They
didn't
have
go
like
because no one could.
a Runza oven set up in Memorial
In
Stadium.
the back.
It'll be interesting to see that new Talus or whatever over on.
Oh, that place's branding is so weird.
Well, it's
It looks like a
medium.
religious
Well,
restaurant.
and
I've heard so reviews.
yeah, no, it's. I think.
on my list,
We're
and
gonna
I
give it 6 months though, because.
prices have doubled.
Yeah, I'm not gonna say it on here. I like the guy that owns it.
You can help.
Sorry.
$50 per bag to food kit to feed a family.
Just because I heard so
Watch that video I
reviews.
sent you.
It's good. I'll try it.
It's who invented Grow Omaha is what it is. You get a mention in
Okay,
there.
all right, I'll
Was
watch
she
this.
mentioned in there? Oh, can I say?
Do it.
in all credit, you were his idea.
Really?
Yeah, he was the one.
I kept it that long, and then I'm like, it Beals will take credit for everything else. It's time that it was Sarah knows.
Yeah. It was Trent's idea to call you. So you've got to give him credit for that.
All right. Well, thank you, Trent.
Everything else is my idea.
It's working out pretty well.
Everything else is my idea. Maybe not everything.
Yeah, he does 85% of the work. Okay, 95. All right, 97.
Brought to you by Certified Piedmontese. Feed online at cpg.com right here on Bigger and Radio 1110 KFAB.
And welcome back to the show. Jeff Beals and Trenton Magid here with you. Grow Omaha, brought to you by D&M Roofing and Dingman's Collision Center. And now it's time for the moment you've all been waiting for, the Turner Construction Lightning Round, in which we go through a lot of things in a short period of time. And thanks to Turner for making this possible. Turner Construction is building for the future with 150 full-time employees here in the Omaha area and many, many other subcontractors working on big projects like the Sarpy County Data Center, all 4 million square feet of it, and small projects and medium projects. And you may have seen Turner signs around all these Chase Bank branches that are going in and many other projects. They can help your company too. Check them out. Turner Construction is the proud sponsor of the Grow Omaha Lightning Round. So, Trenton, let's get into it. Sunnyside Elkhorn has opened in a brand new retail strip at 2611 North 204th Street.
I have not imbibed yet. I want to go try it.
I tried to, but I went on a Monday, and they're not open on Mondays. So
I hate that. I do that all the time.
Yeah, I always forget that. Sometimes I'll show up somewhere on a Monday, and a lot of local restaurants are closed on Monday. People need a day off, and there's those staffing issues. But at any rate, it looks good. I took a photograph of it. We put it on the Grow Omaha Facebook page. We'll try it. All right, JoJo's Diner is open.
Haven't been there either, you?
No. I also tried to go there one time. Oh, they don't open till 8. That was the problem I had with them because I always have to have breakfast earlier because I like to get going. And so I will try that, but they didn't open, at least the one on 132nd Maple.
Is JoJo's a breakfast and lunch, or is it?
I believe so. They started in Benson, and this most recent one is in the old market at 1213 Harney Street. And they have signed a lease for a 4th location, but that has not yet been announced. Knockout Haircuts for Men is a sports-themed full-service salon. It plans to open its first Nebraska store at Cornhusker Point.
Sounds like they do IV sedation or something like that. You're out when they cut your hair, kind of like one of those like dentists.
I did not see that on their website. Dallas-based Knockout is privately held. It was founded in 2002, multiple states, most of them, biggest concentration rather in Texas and Oklahoma. Closest existing location to here is St. Joe, Missouri. Walt and Willie's Creamery opened yesterday at Oakview Mall Food Court. Yes, things do open in Oakview Mall still, apparently. And this is a dessert place. You hear Walt and Willie's Creamery, you're thinking ice cream, right? And they've got that, but they also have cinnamon rolls, brownies, mini donuts, churros, smoothies, shakes, handcrafted chocolates, and of course, boba tea. You always got to throw boba tea into everything, which is pretty good stuff. Stretch Lab Elkhorn has opened at 201st and Pierce Street. That's close to Pacific. The company offers one-on-one assisted stretching in a boutique fitness atmosphere. So if you want to stretch, check it out. They have 4 locations in Kansas City, 4 locations in Minneapolis, and now this one in Omaha.
I'm going to go there after I go to the body contortionist.
They've got that?
And then I'm going to go get stretched afterwards.
Okay, cool. Let me know how it goes. You might want to do the stretch before the contortion business. 511 Tactical has opened its first Nebraska or Iowa store at 721 South 72nd Street. That's just across the street from Nebraska Furniture Mart. 511 Tactical is based out of Irvine, California. 96 locations in 31 states and 9 countries. The company sells outdoor apparel, footwear, uniforms, and tactical equipment. We've got a new retail chain coming to town called... where is it? It is called Daily Thread, and they sell affordable women's fashion. They have 43 stores in 12 states. Closest existing locations are in Lincoln and Sioux City, Iowa. So they are coming to Regency Court in the Omaha area. Sadly, Oasis Falafel has closed.
What?
has closed its downtown location at 17th and Harney Street. They were out of Iowa City. And
I thought you were going to say they're out of falafels, but it sounds like they are.
I think they're out of everything, sadly. But they are closed, 17th and Harney Street. They were from Iowa City, Iowa, and apparently had a very loyal following there. Who knows? Could have been a location thing. They were in the Keyline building, close to City Hall and the county courthouse.
Jewelry.
Don't get me started on the Richard Takechi jingle. Richard Takechi. And then Zen Coffee is opening another location. This one is going to be at One Pacific Place next to Trader Joe's. It'll be opening soon as a drive-through location. Have you noticed how the go ahead.
So are they?
You had a look on your face.
Scooters is down there, isn't it?
I don't know.
There's a Scooters
really
next
close.
to it. Interesting that they'd be doing that, and I can't believe. I wonder if it's another kiosk because
It does. The picture I saw, it looks like a kiosk location.
Interesting.
Maybe they could shoot pop bottle rockets back and forth to each other and have a battle.
Yeah. But pop bottle rockets are illegal. But other than that,
not anymore. You can buy those in Nebraska now.
I got some from '74.
You can buy those in Nebraska now.
No way.
Yeah, this 4th of July, we bought a bunch of bottle rockets. You used to have to go to South Dakota or Missouri to get them. Believe me, I know.
Small ones?
Yeah, pop bottle rockets. The ones we had as kids. You'd go to Missouri and smuggle them into Nebraska, hoping the state patrol didn't pull you over with fireworks sniffing dogs and all that sort of thing.
Okay.
So anyway, you can get them. Little King across the street from what we were talking about earlier, Schimmel Indian Hills.
Yeah, looking good.
Boy, that's really coming along nicely.
Yeah, you can get a number 11 Royal Treat.
You know, they're going to build another one of those at Heartwood Preserve.
Yep.
Little
across
King.
from the Boys Town Post Office.
Directly south of the new Union Bank building. And then also right there, got buildings started on Gunderson's, which is going to have a huge jewelry showroom and a Rolex showroom that's under construction as well. And the music is playing, so we have to shut up and get out of here. I'm Jeff Beals.
And I'm Trenton Magid.
You've been listening to Grow Omaha, brought to you by Dingman's Collision Center, D&M Roofing, and Turner Construction. We'll chat with you again next week at 9 o'clock right here on News Radio 1110 KFAB. If you like this video, be sure to hit those like and subscribe buttons. And remember, Grow Omaha is not just media. This is a mission. We are trying to build up Omaha and make it an even better place. We can only do that with your help. Share this video with your friends, neighbors, and family.